going up and down that area. But now I'm up here asking, when it rains and when it get cold, those kids doesn't have a place to be sheltered because they use my carport. What I mean, most of the kids ride the bus to go to the high school. Most of the kids' parents take them to kids' school. Most of the kids' parents and dads probably have to be at work early morning, so that's the reason why they're supposed to catch the bus. But when they stand out in the cold and in the rain without a shelter over their head, I'm concerned about if the school or the city of Meridian can kind of look into their budget to put a shelter there for the kids to get up Monday. I know it's a lot, but I hate to see the young ladies, the young men standing out there in the rain or either cold. So if they can have a place to put one, maybe on one block or 2 blocks, wherever they can do it, I would appreciate it, and I'm quite sure the city and the parents and the father, the grandma will appreciate it too. Because up that area, in that district, I think it's Miss Kim Hughes' district, I don't know. But those cars come up in there very fast. And this little kid's A1 size is walking in the area. And City of Meridian Police Department dressing them, try to keep it quick. On the weekends and on Fridays, be a lot of shooting. And it needs to be something done. If they can get enough patrol police cars over there on the weekend, even through the weekdays. Because just this past Friday, the MCC Community College stopped by my house and asked me, did you hear that shooting? That was in the park over there at the baseball field. And I said, yes, I did. I was sitting on my back. I ran off the back to go on the front. So it gets so bad in that area, there were a lot of shooting. If the police department, if they would allow them to kind of cruise through there in the evening, night, midnight, or whatever, we would all appreciate it. I'm not speaking for me, I'm speaking for any resident that live over there in the area, because we have people and kids and teenagers, and innocent standby can get shot, hit with a bullet. Okay, another one I'm finna address, and this will be the last one. A lot of, like me and other residents have handicapped kids. They doesn't have a place to go like the Boys and Girls Club do. I'm not against them, they're doing a great job. But when they get out of school in the evening time, they don't have nowhere to go, like after school. They have to leave school and go straight home. And I really think if the city of Meridian can look into their budget to find a place, look for a place, to try to have a place to place them. Let them go out and enjoy like the Boys and Girls Club. We got a lot of them don't have a place to go because the state of Meridian in Mississippi doesn't have a place here for them. Nothing but Wings, Airlines, Life Center. But they have to send them off out of their own city somewhere.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Mosley. What street was that you need more patrol so that our chief...
4331 Holland Park Drive. 4331 Holland Park Drive. In that area, I think that's the low Carver.
Mm-hmm. So patrol, and you said the traffic flow, that's the same street with the traffic flow issue?
Yeah, okay. Same street.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Alan Chu.
Good morning.
Morning.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody out there in Comcast for me for emails and looking on Facebook, the information you're looking for. And also that I will be trying to make a web page just for the city council meeting, since I found out you cannot find a copy as verbatim. I tried to find a verbatim copy of the city council meeting and couldn't. I was told it was sent to the mayor's office where he okayed it, and it was sent back to the city clerk's office where he or she okayed it, and it's not verbatim. And the other thing I'd like to say too is you all got the CD. I mentioned the CD before. You know how Bucky Partridge does business. I talked to Willie Quinn 2 months ago about a property bad in my neighborhood. My ward boss knows it, seen the property. Still nothing has been done about it. He won't return his emails. He won't return his phone calls. And like during the meeting, everybody realized that they don't have any kind of protocol. They just do it, a good buddy system. So if Buckley Parks don't like you, you're going to get a notice. You're going to get your house condemned. If they do like you, well, then you got 1 year, 2 years, just to do whatever you want to. And that's not right. Rules are rules. They should be applied to everyone, not just your good buddies. You know, real simple. Some of you talked about the same thing I'm talking about right now. You obviously know the problem. It's been there for a long time. You need to do something about these department heads you have. They're supposed to be working for us and for you, not for themselves, which is obviously they do. And like I said earlier, I'm trying to get a web page so everyone in the city will be able to see the city council meeting verbatim as the mayor approved of what they hear. So, and I'm betting you wish you guys would just help me a long time ago when I asked you for your help now, because I'll be here on the 18th, and the next meeting after that, and the meeting after that. I'm not going away. There's going to be changes made. Everybody has a constitutional right. And I'm going to see to it they get it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Next, we have Mr. Kyle Wilbanks.
Good morning, Council.
Good morning.
I'm Kyle Wilbanks. I'm a senior firefighter with the Meridian Fire Department and president of the Meridian Firefighters Association, IAFF Local 52. There are roughly 102 firemen on the active roster of the Meridian Fire Department. 2 weeks ago, 81 of those firefighters voted no confidence in Fire Chief Anthony Clayton and Deputy Chief Richard Lester and their ability to effectively lead the department. I am one of those 81. The numbers should speak for themselves, with merely one person casting their ballot in favor of the two chiefs and their ability to lead our department. In the letter to Mayor Bland informing him of the vote of no confidence were 5 specific reasons stated for the vote and a call for action to be taken. In it, we intentionally omitted the accident that recently claimed the life of one of our brothers and left 2 seriously injured because we did not want it to be used for political purposes. We were met with a response that we feel attempts to play on the accident and use the loss of life to make us appear emotional or just overreacting. That's not the case. In the letter, we stated that this vote was not an overreaction to recent events. It's a culmination of 7 years of ineffective leadership that has led to a demoralized fire department that has continuously lowered its standards and created an unsafe atmosphere for our firefighters and citizens. Also, in the mayor's response letter, he stated that the chiefs had done a great job with the resources available to them. There is obviously a strong disparity between the reality we work in every day and the mayor's perception of how things are. We have tried to express our concerns to the mayor and members of his administration, but we have been repeatedly ignored, offered excuses, and cast aside. The chief's failure of leadership has led the department to the state it is in now, but they blame everyone else, even you. They accept no personal accountability or responsibility for the low morale, lack of retention, high turnover rate, and the unsafe atmosphere that engulfs the fire department. Again, this is a direct result of the poor and ineffective leadership. They refuse to work with us, and we are the collective voice of the fire department. That's why we're here, to be heard and make one more plea to you for help. It is past time for change, and that change needs to start at the top. The fire department needs leadership, and we need it badly. The firemen and the public should no longer be put at unnecessary risk by allowing Chief Clayton to remain the fire chief. The relationship between the firefighters and the chiefs is far beyond reconciliation. On behalf of the 81, I am here today appealing for you to take action. Council members, Mayor Bland, how many more of us have to lose our lives before you will take action? Will it take the loss of another expensive fire apparatus? Will it take the loss of life of the citizen? We feel that Chief Clayton and Chief Lester have not only failed the fire department, they have failed the citizens of Meridian as well. Thank you.
Next, we'll have Mr. William Hobden.
Good morning, Council. My name is William Hobden. I'm a senior firefighter, and I also serve as Secretary-Treasurer of the Meridian Firefighters Association. I served as a fireman in this city for 6 years. I'm only one of the 81 members who voted no confidence in the Chief's ability to lead this department. This department has suffered from failed leadership and has resonated through the ranks. From the Chief's inability to effectively communicate, lack of transparency, and an outright refusal to address the issues brought to him by the firemen. I have asked him personally myself, as an officer of the Local 52 and as a senior firefighter of this department, how can I help him resolve and address some of the key issues affecting the department? Without any consideration, he has refused. The Chief has allowed his personal vendetta and bias to come before the needs of the department, creating many problems throughout the ranks of the department, from allowing members of his staff to do as they please while tying the hands of others so they can't effectively do their job. The most destructive part of Clayton's leadership has been his failure to act, leading most to feel as there's no choice but to keep your mouth shut and your head down so you do not become subject of his bias. The issues the Chief has allowed to develop throughout the department has went from firemen of the same rank and longevity being paid differently, misleading the public with disciplinary actions and raisins given, rewarding some for leaving and returning with higher pay than those who have stayed and remained loyal to the department, even allowing some to use their degrees and fire service classes for incentive raises, while not allowing all the others to do the same. This evidence is riddled throughout the department. This breakdown has gone so far as to show bias of who gets class applications sent in, skipping well-qualified personnel for promotions with no explanation given, and even most dangerously, forcing people into driver's positions where they do not want or feel uncomfortable to be in. While the list is ongoing, many people have tried to resolve these issues with Clayton. However, Clayton has completely broken down the lines of communication, with responses of just stay out of my way, I will not work with the union, stay out of the mayor's office, and stay out of the council meetings. We have had no choice but to vote no confidence in Clayton's ability to lead this department. I am only one of 81 of those men who voted, and I hope as things progress, all of us have the conviction to come and share these issues until a change is made. Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Ronnie Wells.
Good morning, how are y'all doing? Good morning. I'm Ronald Wells. I'm a 21-year veteran of the Meridian Fire Department. I'm one of 3 members of a joint health and safety committee. The union appoints or votes for 3. Chief Clayton's involved, and Chief Clayton appoints 2 more, so there's actually 6 members. The fire chief and his 2 appointees, the chief himself is the one who calls the meeting. We can't call him, he's the head of the committee. The committee is designed to maintain a high standard of safety and health for our department. It's for the whole department. The ways that we can accomplish these things are to prevent accidents, to work in proficient but safe manners, ensure that all personal protective equipment meets NFPA codes. We also sign off on any type of accident, whether it be a car accident, whether you trip, fall, you cut your toe, whatever it may be, we sign it, and then we give recommendations of how that could have been prevented. In the last 2 years, we have not had one meeting about anything. I guess what I'm trying to explain is the fact of how important communication is. And it's not been a lack of communication, it's been a refusal to communicate. We have been told, do as I say. And that's the way everybody feels. And it's just time for a change. Thank you.
Madam President, I'd like to respond.
We have heard the issues that the last three gentlemen from the fire department I think you all have a grievance process. I'm not sure if you all have gone through that process, but that is the place where those kind of issues can be handled. We are getting ready to move forward with our council comments. Mr. McAllister, we can address this at some other time. We know that there are some concerns and some things out there, but we would ask everybody involved, especially with the union, please follow the process in order to make things happen in the way that will be legally sound and standing. Council comments?
You better hit the timer on me, too. Go ahead and hit the timer on me, because I think if we're only going to give them 3 minutes, but you know mine are the same. I get what you guys are going through. Because of my health, I couldn't battle it any more than I did, but it's obvious to me the council or the mayor or the police chief isn't going to do anything about our ordinances. And then someone came up here and said something about saggy pants, so they had a big agenda about saggy pants. So I get where you guys are coming from. We were willing to deal 3 years ago, this council was, with certain department heads, and there was disciplinary action. But now, for some reason, both the police chief and obviously the fire chief, they're all too tight to have any disciplinary action. So I totally agree with you. The 3,000 properties we had that was brought up in here, it's embarrassing what some people will give for reasons, but we had 3,000 properties sitting in this town. Of course, we updated ordinances, adopted IPMC codes. I met with community development for over a year to get that done and to have environmental court. Now we're seeing the process that other cities have already done before us. The third one is the stuff that you guys bring before us. I've asked you before, when I worked for GT, Motorola, and Peavey, I never thought of getting up and over-explaining myself and using words after words to explain myself, which I hear a lot of lately. We just keep trying to explain. What I did was I had a written proposal that I gave Hartley Peavey or my boss and said, here's what it's costing you now, here's the problem, here's the solution and what you can save. Whenever we ask for stuff like that, it's like either the information is not available. Well, of course it is. We're so far behind other cities, all we have to do is use their precedents. And when you ask about something like that, everybody acts like, well, why would I do that? I never even considered putting a proposal in before I researched it, got from other cities how their equipment was working, how their processes were working. But we don't seem to do that here. We seem to, somebody comes and sells us something, we don't get the information here. We don't get enough of the information, guys. It's called a proposal. It says, here's how much this is going to cost. Here's how much over the years. Here's how much you're going to save. And it's out there. Consider it. Did I get under my 3?
You want to keep talking?
I know. This is going to take a lot more time.
Okay, there it is. There it is.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Work and be happy because you just can't do it. I remember my there was 5 members of the fairgrounds I served in the firehouse.
I want to thank everybody who came. I want to thank everybody who's watching. As for the firefighters, I want to say that listening to your voices and listening to the specific issues that you articulated today, I am in support of you, and I believe that open communication is paramount and foundational to success in employment. There may be issues. Everybody doesn't like everything about where they work. There's some things they like, there's some things they don't like. But when there are specific issues that are fixable or can be solved, and the line of communication based on your statements is not there to attempt to resolve those issues legitimately, that's a problem. So in hearing your words today and how straightforward you were in specifically articulating the matters, I ask that whether it be the grievance process that was previously mentioned, or in some aspects, as is required by some of your agreements, direct line of communication with the fire chief or the mayor's office, or both, this become a priority and it be resolved. Really quickly about the energy audit, Councilman Hammond has been asking for almost 2 years, 2.5 years regarding an energy audit when we first looked at the amount of money we were paying in utilities for Mississippi Power. So it's kind of like the personnel handbook in being more than 1 year's work. It's been coming towards us and now it's here for proposed passing. But we have to understand that there are specific facts that make up the totality of that energy audit. It's not as simple as the guy getting his feelings hurt. It's not as simple as him being asked for a financial statement. It's the ability for the council to look at all information as a whole, including other studies that other cities have done, and then make a legitimate decision that we will be proud of, because for those of you out here, you don't see the contract, but we did, and under Article 3, there's a contingency. We can contract for $74,000, a little bit over $74,000, and if we decide to enter into an agreement for them to come in and assist us in being more efficient, we could be on the hook for a little bit less, but possibly a lot more. So at default, at the end of that time the audit goes on, we could potentially be on the hook for $74,000. And I don't know anybody on this council who makes a decision without all the facts as it relates to $75,000 in their own personal household. So we're not going to do it with the city's money because it's in our money. As to the personnel handbook, I again echo what I said. Open communication. Employee council doesn't have the authority. Employees of the city across the departments don't have the authority. But there are times when you open the floor up and you at least hear their concerns. You hear the concern, even if you can't change it, even if you're not going to move forward with changing it, even if it's been a 3-year process, you still open your ears up and hear the concerns. As it relates to the actions we took on the 39 houses that were processed, I commend community development for processing 39 houses, because that was a priority of this council year one, and that's what we sat down and talked about and allocated money for. If the processes are legit and consistent with what we've passed, great. If there are issues that we can improve better as it relates to how we communicate to those who are basically on the chopping block with relation to their condemnation of their property, we need to explore those options as well. We want to be able to bridge the gap of communication. Nobody knows what IMPC codes are as it relates to these ordinary everyday citizens. Ordinary everyday citizens don't read the city ordinances. They don't know whether or not they're in compliance. They know how to some extent police themselves, but they don't know whether or not they're in compliance. So being able to effectively explain to them where they are situated with respect to their particular property is going to go a long way in having people think positive about how consistent our community development department works with people.
we send them the letter, we tell them what, is wrong with their property, what code they have violated. So they might not understand the code, but we send them that information when we send it to them.
Totally understand.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Last couple of things. I want to commend everybody who showed support to the Meridian Wildcats last Friday. We didn't have any altercations. We had a grove full of people who were tailgating, parking lot full of people during the Wildcats homecoming game. Unfortunately, they lost that game, but there weren't any incidents at all there. There was a lot of people there. I was very proud to be a Wildcat and see how we conducted ourselves. I also want to thank my fraternity brothers and members of Alpha Phi Alpha and Mount Olive Baptist Church. We partnered in doing a voter registration drive on September 24th in the Family Life Center. It's very important. Saturday is the last day. Saturday's the deadline to qualify in order to be eligible for the November 8th general election.
And if you're one of those 40% that don't want to vote for either one of them for president, there are some other elections on there, so don't let that keep you away. There's some other ways to vote, but I hope you'll all vote for someone. I continue to push for progress. I continue to push to do it quickly. I will continue to do so. Heard a lot of compliments on the streets downtown, how they're looking. So we're making progress there. It looks a lot better. We've got a long way to go. A lot of other things we need to do. Compliment two groups. First, the academic team from Meridian High School. They had a competition recently. They were rated #1. They beat out private schools, public schools, parochial schools. The opportunity for academics at Meridian High School far exceed most other schools if the students want to take advantage of them. The opportunities there. Dr. Carter is making a strong effort to increase those efforts to make more opportunities available to the children in this community, and that's a critical part of our community as we make progress, is to improve and continue to improve the public schools, where we will have students wanting to come back to the public schools as opposed to leaving the schools. I agree with Mr. Markham. The participation at the recent ball game